Who is Gal Ezra? Well, it wasn't always like this.
I got the recipe, never gonna let any op get the best of me. Thought it was distance, but haters is next to me. Talk to the spirit, you know I've been heavenly.
Today, I run a music festival that grew to seeing 40,000 people. I started it at the age of 23. Today, I run a finance business. I have hotels and properties. I have incredible friends. I have a beautiful wife. But that is what I've achieved so far. This is what I have yet to achieve. And this is the story that nobody knows. And that's the story I'm gonna take you on in today's vlog, going to key locations that I wanna show you that shaped my life. Let's start with the biggest question I get asked, and that's, what is this accent? Well, I was born in Cape Town, South Africa, and I lived here until I was 6 years old. At 6 years old, I moved to the States. Both my parents being Israeli, Hebrew is the native language I speak at home. So now we've got American, Israeli, and South African mixed into here. And I lived in the States until I was 19. At 19, my life changed forever. That's where this story really begins. But first, I'm going into this meeting, and then I'm gonna tell you the rest. Just wrapped up a great meeting, but let's carry on with the story. 19 years old, I have big plans. I just finished high school, and I have the idea to go to LA. I'm gonna do acting out there, I'm gonna do business, and I had this whole 5-year idea of what's gonna happen. None of that worked out. People are always shocked to hear this, but at 19 years old, I still didn't have my US visa, even though I'd been living there for 12 years. So my family and I had to go to Israel to get my visa renewed. So we go to Israel, my parents get approved, I get declined. I'm in the situation where my parents are going back to the States, and my dad says, look, you were born in Cape Town, you have a South African passport. Why don't you go to South Africa and you'll quickly get your visa approved using your South African passport? So I fly down to Cape Town, South Africa. I arrive here thinking I'd be here for a few days and quickly get my approval. As fate would have it, I got declined. I was forced to be here, and I was literally stuck here. The attorneys are telling me, don't worry, it'll be a month before you get home. But a month became 2, became 6 months, and I only went home 3.5 years later. And that was in 2014. But the time between 2011 to 2014 is when everything changed, because that's when I had to become an adult. During that time period, I was living with my grandma, and we're actually quite close to where she lives, and that's where I want to take you next. When you're stuck in a country, you get put in this weird limbo where on the one hand you want to go home, and on the other hand you can't, and you don't know what to do because you're stuck. And so what do? Start a new life here? Or what? When do you get to go home? So where we are now is where I lived for 2 years. Hi, Safta.
Hello.
This is my grandma. She's almost 90, and she's a Holocaust survivor. Being in a new city, I thought it was a terrible place. I saw no beauty in Cape Town. I struggled to make friends, and I got to this position where I don't want to be here. Months went by, and then summer came around, and all of a sudden I started realizing this is actually a pretty cool city. My viewpoint changed, and like anything, when your viewpoint changed, and your actions then change. December is here, I start going out, I start partying. Now, the one thing I can say is I never did drugs. I'm heavily against it, and I'm a very, very light drinker, if at all. But it was still partying, it was still girls, it was still that having fun and being out late lifestyle. I wasn't a professional, I had no business yet. I was just a kid. But I had one thing that I knew, and it was the law that communication out will bring communication in, will bring income. Not just financial income, but will bring friends, will bring opportunities. So I had this rule that if I go out, I need to meet at least one interesting person per night, at least. That was my thing. Interesting can be just a friend, could be a potential business connection, could be someone doing cool things, but I had to find at least one person per night. And I started to establish this network. And that network would be what would ultimately lead me to doing music festivals. So I went from being this partier, this party boy, to a party owner. It was literally at my grandma's pool that I started doing my first little get-togethers of 15 people. Some of my closest friends here still remember those days. God, everything looks so much smaller when you come back to it. You know, back home in the US, friends would call me and ask me, hey, what are we doing this weekend? And I'd get everyone together. So I wanted to establish that in Cape Town. And it started with little things at this pool. And I was just a kid. So what I started doing is planning going to be in the Israeli army. Both my parents were in the Israeli army, and I thought, I'm in a weird limbo in my life anyway. What am I gonna do in Cape Town? I'll go to the Israeli army. I was broke at the time. And my dad, he said to me, look, I'm not supporting you financially, but I'll give you knowledge. The knowledge is what you'll need to do anything. Knowledge will give you the control and will give you the income. But at the time, I didn't have money, and I started doing acting lessons and acting classes. And I was being an actor, and I worked as an actor. I got money from that. Not a lot, but I survived. During that time, at one audition, I met this guy. You know, communication out brings communication in. I yelled my name across the room to someone, and he heard it, and he said, hey, I'm Israeli, and I heard your name. Are you Israeli? I said, yeah, I am. So it turns out that that guy was an international model, and he was living in a house full of other models. And I said to him, why don't we do house parties at your house? And so that's what we started doing. And then I called these other guys that I heard that they're doing house parties, and I said to them, guys, you have locals, we have these internationals and these models, why don't we do a combined house party? And that's where we're going next. But first, let's say bye to my grandma. Thank you, Safta. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you. Let's go to where the first house party was.
What's the last time you've actually been in this location?
Many years ago, but it's bringing back memories. I'm trying to figure out where it is exactly, but it's so wild to be driving this. This is it. This is it. I wasn't sure, but this is it. So this is where it happened, our first house party. We thought we made it. We made $2 each. We literally split 20 Rand each, we broke even, but in our head, 100 people came and we were successful. And that's all we needed. We needed that oomph to get us to do another one. That's an important lesson. Success is the sum of validated improvements. You need to say well done to yourself for every little improvement, whereas most people say this was bad, this was bad, this was bad. We had that well done, and it got us to do another one. And we aimed for 300 people, 3 times the number. But at the next one, we didn't get 300 people. I'll tell you what happened when we go to the next site where that next party happened. Daniel, I just tried calling them. I think that rooftop has now become like an office space, so I don't think we're gonna be able to go there. But I'll tell you what happened. As we're editing this, I kind of think we should try to go to the rooftop. All right, let's find this place. Okay, I think this is it. Hundreds of people were all here in this lobby. Whoa, crazy to be back here. This wasn't offices, this was a big bar. It's just wild to see. This used to be wooden decking, but I can't believe we made it here. We're actually back where it all began. All right, we did it. Back to the vlog. Not 300 people came. 900 people came, and the party was amazing, and the party got shut down by the police, and we thought we failed. At the time, Facebook was huge, so we thought we were gonna get so much hate on Facebook, but the next day, everybody commented, the police won't stop us, that was the greatest party ever. And again, we got that oomph we need to do the next one. The next one was 1,600 people. The one after that was 1,900 people, and it just started rolling. And do you remember that idea about me going to the army? That was now out the window. I realized we have something big on our hands, and I really wanted to pursue that. This road's a little crazy and a little busy. Let's go to the next spot. So our summer festivals were born, they were alive and kicking. We Love Summer was the name. And then we created a food festival called Feastival, Food and Music. And then there were 2 other festivals which I exited from. And up until 2018, it was a lot of work. It was like 12 to 14 hours a day for 5 years setting up these festivals, and it was busy. But then I started noticing that I have time on my hands. So what do? Set up another business. So I started looking for what do I do next? So my dad ran across this concept called bridging finance while he was coaching someone. And he thought we can do that better. And he contacted me and said, Gal, would you want to take this concept and kind of run with it and build it? I never studied finance, but I said, yeah, I can do this. Because I thought if I just start, and that's an important lesson, just start, make it happen, you'll figure it out. So we started. Today Empower Funding runs millions of dollars worth of deals, and we're just getting started. And so that's how Empower Funding was born in 2018, and it's still alive and kicking. I also started investing in properties and playing within the Airbnb space. So I learned how to do properties sort of on my own, And now, as of the last 2 years, I'm also doing hotels. So we have one hotel, Amina Boutique Hotel, which is open, and we have another one that's a development. It's gonna be a full construction, which we're also going to showcase on the vlog. I'm gonna hop on a quick Zoom meeting, and after that, we'll talk about the last part of the story. Between 2018 to 2020, times were really good, but then 2020 hits, and I actually managed to navigate okay. But I realized that many people didn't. People needed help. And that's what my dad has been doing for years. He helps entrepreneurs, business owners, employees boom in their businesses and in their life. Guaranteed Prosperity heals relationships, it gets people off drugs, it handles depression, but on top of that, it really teaches you to make a lot of money ethically. And it's my passion to help others. So I also have gotten involved in Guaranteed Prosperity a lot with business coaching and business training, and it's what I want to do probably more than anything else. And while I will always build businesses because I'm an entrepreneur through and through, I want to help people. So we'll be showing that in the vlog. And of course, my passions as well. Martial arts, travel, food, all that great stuff that shows who I am. But really, the purpose here is to show you how you can expand. And again, as I said in the first vlog, give you value. So this was my first 12 years, and I'm really looking forward to the next 12. There he is. How are you, bro? We're gonna do some coaching for the owner, talk a little business, opportunities. The shirts that you wear should be washed inside out. Mariah has a different theory. Well done, that was good, that was good. I liked it. No matter where I go in Cape Town, it's just always beautiful. Make Monday your bitch.